Well, good morning, my friend. Welcome to the Pastor's Podcast this Thursday morning, coming to you by the way of my home office this morning. And have some things I have to do around town before I get into the office. But I just wanted to stop by and give you a good morning and welcome you to the Pastor's Podcast as we continue on through the week. Had a great Wednesday night service last night. Visitors in attendance. That was always good. Now, I want to encourage you now. We are just 2.5 weeks away from the Old Paths Conference. And we're going to have a wonderful time. And so I'd encourage you, if you can, you plan to come and let's see what God can do. Let's have a great time. Would you? Would you come? And your heart's going to be blessed. You're going to be helped. There's several great lessons that are going to be taught that are going to help you in your church, whether you're a Sunday school teacher, bus worker, just different things, a pastor, a lay person, going to help you as you serve the Lord so that you can help grow so the Lord can use you to grow your ministry. Just some things that we have done that have worked for us that I know will work in any church. I don't care what size it is, it'll work. And so I'd encourage you to come be a part of it. Going to have a great time. Dr. Bob Gray Sr., Dr. Bruce Goddard are the guest speakers, and you're going to enjoy hearing them preach. And I'd encourage you to come. Let's see what God can do. Well, today, I want to talk about something that a lot of times a lot of people don't like talking about, and that is entitled to work. In Acts chapter 20, verse 34, the scripture says, "Yea, ye yourselves know that these hands have ministered unto my necessities and to them that were with me." This is Paul talking. And one of the greatest statements he made to the church in Ephesus was that he didn't look for others to take care of him, but his own hands ministered to his own necessities. Paul didn't look for a handout. He found a way with his own hands to be sure that his needs were met. Now, we live in times when people feel they are entitled for others to care for their needs. You have young people who feel that everyone else should pay their college tuition. You have grown adults living with their parents instead of getting a place of their own and paying their own bills. You have the government sending checks to people who are very capable of working a job to pay their own bills. Now, what all of this has done is it has created people with a mindset, an entitled mindset, that others are to care for their needs that God intended for them to provide for their own hands. Nearly every week, somebody, as a pastor, they ask me for the church to pay a bill. Our church is not a bank, and no church is a bank. And the fact is, the church has its own bills to pay. We try to use our money wisely. And oftentimes these people that are asking for the church to pay their bills, what did they spend their money on? Did they spend on alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, whatever they spent it on? They had to save that money. They might have had money to pay the bills. Now, my parents taught me many great character traits that have helped me through life. But one of the greatest character traits that my parents taught me was that if I wanted something, I needed to go work to get the money myself. My parents did not help me to purchase any vehicle I owned. They did not help me to purchase my house. They did not give me an allowance as a child. What they did give me was a work mindset that I work with my own hands so that I can provide for my needs. Now, am I upset that my parents didn't help me in these areas? Absolutely not. Because what they'd helped me with has helped me throughout life. If my parents would have taken care of every need that I had and would have paid and bought my car and bought a house for me, then the truth is, now that my mom's in heaven and my dad can't help me, what would I do right now? You see, too many people are headed to that point, and because they've never learned how to work. Now, one of the greatest lessons a parent could teach their child is that they are entitled to do one thing. They're entitled to work to provide for their own needs. If parents, and I know this is not popular, if parents stopped giving their children everything they wanted, they could teach their children how to work to get those things. And that work ethic that they would learn would help them for the rest of their lives. Now, if you love your children, you'll do that. May I also say believers need to stop looking for others to give them things and need to start learning how to work through prayer to get their needs met by God. Too many are looking for others to fund their needs instead of looking to God to provide their needs. We have to understand that whoever you trust to provide your needs has become your God. So if you trust God to provide your needs, God's your God. If you trust others to provide your needs, they've become your God. Now, we've got to stop begging others. Sometimes the biggest beggars I have found are God's people. People oftentimes, I get people oftentimes, can your church do this for me? Can your church do this for me? Well, why don't you get a hold of God, or why don't you go work a job and get it done? God can do a better job at providing your needs than any person can ever provide. If you have the mindset that you'll work with your own hands, provide for your needs, you'd be surprised how much God will care for your needs. And you might even be surprised how others will give towards you. See, most of your needs could be provided by working with your hands to provide these needs. God often wants to see how much you are willing to work to get your needs met before he allows others to give to you. Now, I'm not at all minimizing others giving to the needs of someone, but I am stressing the point that every individual needs to have a mindset to provide for themselves. You'll feel much better about yourself if you learn that you are entitled to work for what you get. Now, if your hands have provided your needs, you will be able to look with satisfaction and say that you worked to get what you have. Now, let me ask you something. Do you feel like you're entitled for somebody else to give you something? Stop that. My friend, the best thing that anybody could ever learn how to do is to learn how to work hard. I thank God my parents taught me how to work, and I've worked hard for everything I have. I look at my daughter and son-in-law, and boy, they're what a fine young couple they are. And they're both hard workers. My daughter's a hard worker. My son-in-law is a hard worker, and I appreciate their work ethic. My son-in-law's parents invested in him that work ethic to work hard, and I appreciate that in him. I look at one of my assistant pastors, Brother Mark Trimble, a hard worker. I look at another staff man, Brother Dan Dion, a hard worker. I think of a man in my church, Brother Angel Aguilar, just a good, hard-working man. I could go through the list of people that I know, hard-working people. My friend, you give me a bunch of hard-working people any day over a bunch of lazy bums who have their hand out. And may I say, some of you preachers need to stop begging everybody else to do something, go out there and work hard. God will provide for those who work hard. You cannot give without God giving back. So if I give effort to work hard, God will give it back. And I promise you, you'll always be thankful that you were the one that God used to build these things. What a great God that would teach us how to work hard. Well, my friend, I hope this is a great help to you today. Now, let's remember today, be good to everyone. Everyone's having a tough time. Have a great day, my friend.